Hey Mama, welcome to the podcast. I am Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5, and we are going through a pregnancy week by week. If you are following along week by week, congratulations on reaching 23 weeks. Some weeks it kind of feels like there's a lot of changes to be aware of and to note, things to start thinking ahead on. And other weeks, it's just kind of a little bit more of the same. And this week, as I was doing some research and studying about it and whatnot, it kind of seemed like this week was a little bit more of the same. So last week's, I kind of dived deep into some things to be prepared for, especially in regards to gestational diabetes. This week is kind of a little bit more of the same, but there is still some good updates and still some good mindset tips for you to learn and to incorporate into your mind, and also to realize the changes happening with baby and your body. So let's jump into it. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. Before I update you on some of the changes, I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you for listening. Thank you for trying to take care of your mind. Mind work can be very hard and discouraging because the results are not instantaneous. The results of taking care of your mind, of choosing positivity, of feeling it to heal it when you need to, giving yourself grace, all those things, they take time. They're usually not instantaneous things. So thank you for choosing to try and take care of your mind during this special time of growing a baby inside. Even though it might not feel that you are making a difference or that you are making a headway, you are. And when you look back, you'll realize how far you've come and the progress you have made. I know for me, that's kind of how it tended to feel with my 5th pregnancy. There were times when I felt like I hadn't made any progress, even though I'd taken my own course, I'd done my own videos, I'd implemented my own mindset things into my pregnancy. There were some times that it felt like my progress was very slow. But I look back, and especially as I compare it to other pregnancies and how far I came in that 5th pregnancy, especially in comparison to like my 3rd pregnancy, and even got better than my 4th pregnancy. So sometimes it does take time and distant time to be able to notice a difference in some of these things, but don't give up. Keep trying. It is worth it. I can attest to that. It is so worth it. I used to hate pregnancy, but now because of shifting my thoughts, even though there were still hard moments of pregnancy that I didn't love, my mind was in such a better place, and I felt so much better about pregnancy and being pregnant and carrying a baby, and what a beautiful process and thing that is. So keep going, Mama. It is worth it. Okay, so to talk about the baby, at this point, their intestines are they look black, and that's because they're filled with meconium, which meconium is made up of like bile salts, bile acids, and other metabolic waste. And this will actually be released with the baby's first few bowel movements. So their first poops are going to be this black stuff. It was so weird. I did not know this until we had our first baby, and he was already here, and what the poop was. And it looks like a tar, and it is so strange and interesting, but that is just, I don't know, that's what that's how their digestive system gets started, is with some of that, is with the meconium. So kind of an interesting fact and something to pay attention to for the future when you have your baby and they're having their first bowel movements. They also have a translucent looking skin. Babies in utero, they just don't produce much melanin, which is the color, it gives skin the color. So their skin almost looks translucent. At this point, babies are just growing. In the next month or so, they are going to double in size. They're building a layer of fat under their skin, and their brain is developing neurons for their 5 senses. So still some pretty cool things going on in utero with your baby. For you, mama, you might be dealing with stretch marks. I read a bunch of different percentages, anywhere from 80 to 90% of women end up with stretch marks. I did also do reading that most stretch marks do fade with time, even if you don't use like a stretch mark lotion. Although they do make stretch mark type lotions. I did try that with one of my babies because my sister-in-law had bought it for me. But with my other babies, I never did do any stretch mark treatment. If that concerns you or if you want to, definitely look into that. They've got so many options on the market for that type of thing. Something that might be getting a little hard as your baby grows is breathing. There is a type of breathing that can help, and it's called 360-degree breathing. And I actually don't think I've really mentioned this on the podcast. In relations to pregnancy. Actually, I don't think I've mentioned it at all. But what 360-degree breathing is, it's where you expand your lungs and concentrate on expanding your lungs so that your ribs go out like all the way around. And so as you breathe like that, that can help you to get better breath and is better for pregnancy. Other symptoms that you could be feeling would be brain fog, which brain fog isn't fun because you just feel like you can't remember things that you want to remember. Fatigue, anxiety, or increased hunger are all symptoms, if I can spit out my words, that you may be experiencing at this time in pregnancy. Another one that I noted down was you may be having some swelling in your hands and feet, or even blotchy skin. There are so many changes going on in your body to grow this baby, and unfortunately some of the symptoms it comes with are negative and can be hard and difficult to deal with. There also may be, as I mentioned, Braxton Hicks or other types of pains that accompany pregnancy. Dealing with all these negative side effects can be really hard. It can wear on your mind and almost make you feel like you are not you. And that is really hard to deal with. I talk a lot on this podcast about mental health because I feel that mental health is an area that is neglected when it comes to pregnancy. And I want you to take care of that mental health because that can help you all the way around, not only with the physical things you are dealing with, but the mindset, the birth, your mental outlook affects everything. And as I talk about it a lot on the podcast, I also have more specific and potent, if that's the right word, videos, and I have the audios of them as well, that focus on these things. It's called the Morning Sickness Mini Course for Mental Health. And I call it morning sickness because that was the time of pregnancy I got the most depressed and was hardest for me. But all of these videos are pregnancy specific, and they can help you with a short video or audio dose to help you when you are struggling. There are 44 videos, and they are 2 to 8 minutes long, and I also have downloadable audios for all of those videos. The areas that I talk about in that course and that I really encourage are gratitude, changing the negative to the positive, and pregnancy-specific affirmations. And I give examples of each of those. I give a bunch of gratitude exercises, a bunch of changing the negative to the positive exercises with examples. And then a bunch of them are also pregnancy-specific affirmations. Sometimes we just need to flood our minds with these pregnancy-specific affirmations so that we can drown out and get rid of the negative that wants to flood us and infiltrate us because of all the negative symptoms. So sometimes just using the affirmations, just listening to them and doing your best to work to believe them is powerful and makes a difference. It is all mindset work. There is no actual exercising involved, and it is for women who struggle with pregnancy but have a desire to have a stronger mental health during pregnancy. I know that it's not easy because I have worked at it specifically through my last 3 pregnancies, and there are times where it's hard to try and choose to be positive. But as you play or use these audios or videos, it doesn't require a lot of work for you other than just thinking. In fact, I used my own course for my 5th pregnancy. I listened to my own videos and implemented them because I needed my help. It was hard, especially that sickness phase. So if you want more dialed in help, I mean, this podcast can help you there. But if you want it in shorter, quicker doses to help you throughout this pregnancy, I encourage you to check it out in the show notes. I am thinking of doing a big overhaul with my website, and I have a new idea I'm really excited about, but it's in like the very beginning stages. But I feel like as I mention it, it will help me to move forward on my ideas with my website and also with my new thing that I've been thinking of. And you just always hope when you tell people that you can actually do it. I am also a mom of 5, as I mentioned, and life is just busy, and I really want to get to this. So I'm hoping that as I tell you my endeavors, that it will help me to be able to get to it. I care about you, and I want the best for you in this pregnancy. And I know God does too. But as I was reading in the scriptures this morning, in James 2, it talks about faith without works is dead. Verse 17 talks about it, and so does verse 26. And if you believe, that is a start, but you also need to have some action. Like, you need to try to do some of the mindset things that I tell you. And it makes a difference. Anyway, God is cheering for you. Have faith, believe, but also back it up with doing it, with acting on what is said in this podcast or what things you know you need to do to help your mind, to help your body, and to help your baby and your family this pregnancy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. And if you want more episodes like this, I have put a bunch in the show notes. I will still have the ones on gestational diabetes there, and some pregnancy-specific affirmations, and some first trimester stuff if you are dealing with the morning sickness. There's a bunch of options in the show notes for those. I just want you to win. I want you to win and have success in this pregnancy. We will chat again next week. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.